Hello and welcome to Thank You Internet.
A sincere love letter to everything the internet has to offer.
My name is David Spencer.
And I'm firing my laser! I'm excited.
Yes. We're very excited today because as you can see in the episode description, we're talking to Dom Fera of D-Fierce Studios, of Decked, of Shield One Spidey, of Lazer Collection, of lots of cool things.
Yeah, that's right. And I, Michael William Hunter, am right along for the ride.
Yeah, no, this is pretty exciting because we're big fans of this guy. We're big fans of this guy's work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's pretty awesome that we got an interview with him.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I remember showing you I think it was on my iPod.
You probably were the one who showed me this.
Yeah.
That's right, because you had the videos downloaded on your iPod, didn't you?
Yeah. That was like back when we had like the big brick iPods, and it was like because I had like a YouTube video downloader or something, and so is
that a legal thing? Did you download them legally? You know, Dom's gonna listen to this episode, right?
Oh no!
Wonder how he's gonna feel about.
Well, they
I know.
It wasn't monetized at the time, David.
It's true. But I mean, that's like one less viewing that's showing up there. You know what? That's okay. I'll go and watch it twice. Just
thank you. Yeah,
I'll go watch it again right now, and just to get that view.
It has over 14 million views, David.
You know what? Every view counts.
What
if every single one of those 14 million views ended up deciding to watch it on an iPod instead? Then how many views would it have?
It would still have 14 million views.
It would have 0.
But none of it would be traced to YouTube.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. But honestly though, I super excited and
no, it's great.
And honestly, I honestly don't even know if we should. We need to talk. We need to talk about something.
Okay, but yeah, it's very exciting. But yeah, okay, you wanted to just like let's just palate cleanser, clear the air.
Yeah, let's just palate cleanse, breathe. What do you have going on, David?
Well, let's talk about anonymous and hacktivism. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to go that big.
Well, honestly, that is a topic we need to talk about at some point, but not today.
That's too much. I don't know if anything internet news. I mean, I'm kind of sleep deprived. I was on a movie shoot all week.
Well, that's cool.
Not all week. And it's not a big deal.
Meet any cool people, David?
You know what? I signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't say.
You met, did a film?
Yeah, there's some pretty cool people involved, you know?
People,
pretty big following. Speaking of which, though, I found out my friend, this is not part of the non-disclosure agreement or whatever, but my friend Alex Labaugh, shout out to Alex Labaugh if you're listening, who brought me onto this project. He's actually friends with somebody that we're going to be interviewing in a couple weeks.
Ooh.
And I don't know can we reveal names of people in the future?
Sure, maybe.
You know what? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think it'll be pleasant surprise.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Man, that was a brilliant volley, David. Let me just spike that. Thanks
you know
for
what?
that.
Sometimes I want to do good segues. Today, I'm just like,
nope.
Peek behind the curtain because I seem to do this every episode.
All right.
We've recorded like 2 episodes today, so I'm a little podcasted out.
You've been
we've talked.
See, that's
a
weird because the word cast can still like you're pod passed out.
Pod passed out.
That's a new word.
Kay.
Internet, get on that, please.
I'm a little pod passed out.
Pod passed.
Last week we recorded 2 episodes. This week we're recording 2 episodes. Next week we're going to record 2 more episodes. So hopefully after that we can like sleep for 3 weeks or something.
Go. Well, honestly, before we jump right into the interview, I just wanted to talk about something that I had no idea I would be wanting to talk about. So anybody who is an avid gamer knows that the Five Nights at Freddy's games are you're either really deathly afraid of jump scares, or you're just kind of like, it's not scary, duh. It's just, it's so totally predictable. Well, the newest game came out, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, completely changed the entire dynamic on its head. Instead of being a janitor, instead of being a security guard, you are now a little kid in your bedroom. And you have to keep the monsters out, and it's no longer a light, like, visual learning game. It is now a sound learning game. And there's a lot, like, I believe Markiplier just beat, like, up to a specific point, the most of the game that he can at the moment, besides 2020 mode. You know, that's not even what I want to talk about. It's being made into a movie, David.
A movie?
An independent, like, an indie game is being made into a Hollywood movie. It's not even like an independent film. This is being done by the guys that did the Poltergeist remake.
Sam Rockwell? I'm sorry. That's the only person I know behind the new Poltergeist remake.
Okay, that's me smacking you, David.
Ow.
So, but yeah, no, I just, and honestly, even with that news, I'm like, it's not really that big a deal. It's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be an animated film, whatever. Oh, it's not. It's
live action?
Live action. The animatronics. I mean,
animatronics?
Yeah, well, see.
Animatronics? You mean it's not just gonna be Andy Serkis jumping around in ping pong balls? Not
this time, David. They're going back to the old days. I personally just want to say this. Anybody who hasn't played Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a game where you're pretty much in a Chuck E. Cheese-like environment as a security guard, and these animatronics have free roaming devices in them that allow them to move around at night, and they basically they're trying to kill you. That's essentially what it is. All three of the first games were pretty much that formula. You're a security guard, shit happens, holy crap. But now, as I said, you're a little kid, and it ties into this whole lore that's going on. There's a deep mystery about what is causing the animatronics to kill. And now it's being made into a movie by the Poltergeist people. The remake, mind you. It's gonna have the Jim Henson Company attached to it, making, like, real props and animatronics. Like, I don't know what's more scary, is the fact that it's gonna be, like, we'll be able to see live action versions of them on the red carpet, or the fact that I'm going to have to watch this movie. I don't know what the plot's going to be. I don't know what exactly is all going to go into it. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is the last game in the series, and apparently it's supposed to tie into everything. But I'm just overwhelmed with the fact that an indie game on the internet is being made into a blockbuster movie.
No joke, one of my biggest things that just creep me out and I'm afraid of are animatronics. I will probably not be watching this movie nor playing this game.
I honestly do not feel bad for you, David, because it's scary.
This has been Thank You Indie Games.
Yep, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you guys. We're gonna get you guys with a jump scare, because obviously we can do that.
Oh, that was
Jesus.
My jump scare.
See what we did there? Visual gags don't work on an audio.
That was my audio gag. That's why I shouted really loud.
Anywho, so that's all I had to talk about today. Honestly, can we just jump right into this interview?
Let's just go into it. Yes, because honestly, I don't know why I'm still talking, because this is all I want to do is just this interview, because, who cares about this? You know what?
Just shut up, David.
If you're listening to this, I am shocked you didn't just skip this portion and go straight to the interview. But, thanks for not.
And, here we go.
Alright, so today we are talking to Dom Fera of D-Fear Studios. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. How are you doing today, Dom?
I'm doing just splendid.
Awesome. So for anybody who doesn't know, tell us who you are, what have you done, where would people know your work?
The one you gotta go to, people tend to have seen the Lazer Collection if they've seen something. There's one of my short films called The End. Sometimes people recognize, funnily enough, because I was so sure that one was going to be something that people did not like at all, because it's just people talking the whole time, and then that ended up being the most viewed of the live action stuff. So
that's awesome. Well, that's
cool, man.
That's encouraging that when you think you won't connect with an audience, that it actually does. That's cool.
Yeah, but mixed in with the times where you're they're gonna love it, and then it's crickets.
Oh gosh,
so there's enough of that as well.
Yeah, no, David and I, we know all about that. We had, we would do, like, stupid YouTube videos a long time ago.
Well, yeah, except nobody ever watched ours. We're not the Lazer Collection.
I know we're not the... But, you know...
Anyway. But have you seen the new one? I put out the new one, and it was pretty kind of crickets, you know what I mean? The reaction to it was kind of, like, not so good.
Well, how long has it been since number 5? That was posted...
Oh, like friggin' 4 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
3 years, maybe?
Yeah, and now most of your stuff is live action stuff, and I feel like as even though the Lazer Collection is kind of where I started with you, because like watching those videos, but now I like when I think of what you got going on, I think of your live action stuff. I think of Decked and Shield Wants Spidey, which was such a great video. That was
thanks, man.
That was one of my favorite videos.
Thanks, dude.
Or
that was me. It was very cold that day, so that was me. That was me trying to act like Spider-Man while freezing to death.
There you go.
A very special performance.
So Dom, what was your earliest memory of the internet? Like,
earliest was like I think like flashplayer.com. I found Newgrounds pretty early on because one of my buddies, who's sort of like the bad influence friend, showed me Newgrounds. Because I mean, for the most part, the stuff on Newgrounds is friggin' disgusting, and like also, yeah, it was perfect, it was amazing and funny, but like gross. So I was like 11 or whatever when he showed me that. Yeah, so it was watching like Knox was the big guy, Robert Benfer, when he was doing his Clay stuff. That was like a very, very big deal every time there was a new one of those. He was also like dubbing The Matrix, which I thought was so funny. And then that, I think because of Knox, that led into Jason Steele from Film Cal, like of Charlie the Unicorn and all that stuff. Because he was making, and these were all, like, those were the two guys who, when I was watching that, they were like the guys who showed me. I was like, oh my God, people just do it. They just make stuff. Like, because clearly I was watching, like, Jason's shorts, and I'm like, this is not a professional movie, but this is clearly just a bunch of people who were like, we're just gonna like make a movie and put it online. And it's weird, like now it's like so saturated, like anybody can really post anything anywhere, and it's really easy to. But there was like this point, when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, where it was like if you were online, if you had something that was like watchable on the internet, it was nearly as cool as being on like television. You know what I mean? Or at least that's how I was looking at it too. So I was like watching Jason Steele short films and Knox's stuff, and I was like, these guys are awesome. They're like, I mean, they're famous. They're just as important to me as the stuff I'm watching on TV. And I mean, it's only gotten, it's only gone even more in that direction. So,
yeah.
I guess it was meant to be. That was kind of how everybody felt about it.
Yeah, well, and that's the awesome thing with that. Because, like, I mean, that's why we started doing this podcast. Because we felt the same way of just, like, I would look up to Film Cow as much as I would look up to anybody else.
Hell yeah, right. Batman. Hell yeah. I mean...
were you just doing the Jason voice? Was that?
Yeah. My
yeah, man. I can't even do it. It's always that.
Oh man,
there's
Batman,
always someone
I thought you
who's
were gonna
like,
be cool, Batman. I thought you were gonna be cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh god, I was.
Because I'm like all messed up,
He was so spot on with that. So spot on.
Yeah, he was quick too. That came out hours.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a full 24 hours after they released the Joker picture.
Oh goodness, and just shows how on top of it he is. But anyways, we're not talking about him. We're talking about you. We'll get to him later. So obviously the Lazer Collection is what everyone kind of knows you from, at least from our era. So what went behind that? What inspired you to make something as ADHD, as insane as the Lazer Collection?
I guess I had ADHD and didn't know it. I don't know. It was basically, I mean, that was, again, kind of going into when all of this was new. I was just making things that I thought were funny. And that was sort of like, that's sort of the danger of people who kind of start right now. Is that, yeah, you want people to watch your stuff. Of course you want people to watch your stuff. That's the best part about making stuff, is kind of knowing that it's hitting with an audience of any size, any kind. That rocks. But like when you're chasing the audience, it sort of doesn't. I don't know. Like for me, it's been easy to chase because usually, for the most part, I kind of was sticking to what I wanted to do in the first place. And obviously, I got sick of the Lazer Collection. But when I made that, I just thought it was funny. And I actually, it wasn't gonna go past the first one, the first sketch in it, with the head of Collin Mochrie.
Oh,
I was
really?
gonna stop. That was I did that, and I was like, that's funny. That's the thing. Like that was the creation. Because again, like literally nothing mattered. There was nobody paying attention. Nobody was watching it. So it was like, that's fine. I'm done. I just wanted to make an anything, and I did. And then I showed it to, weirdly enough, I had a buddy Spencer in high school, actually only in my freshman year of high school. And he was like one of those people who was like super sporty and like way smarter than me and just cooler than me, and everybody like knew he was cooler than me, but we got along and like would laugh a lot, and we were in math together. And I remember showing him that, and he's like, it was funny, man, that was really funny. And I was like, you think so? And I was like, maybe I'll do more of it. I was like, I didn't know that was that funny. So I did more of them, and I posted it, and yeah, I just I
And
don't
then
really
all of a
know.
sudden, everybody else started watching it, not just your
Totally.
buddy in high school.
I mean, it was Robert. It was Robot Chicken, you know. I mean, it was like. So
Well,
that was really it.
And the thing I love about it, like, which it seems like interesting to kind of film analyze, YouTube stuff like that, but I love it that it's an exercise in just using the same punchline in 1,000 different situations, that it's just like
it's exhausting, man.
But then it's also just like the anticipation of just like, when's it gonna happen and how's it gonna happen, and then like the way, like I remember first, what was it? It was like the second or the third one where Dr. Octagonopus comes out of the sink, and you just totally flip the expectations of having the shit beat out of him.
He gets the shit kicked out of him.
Well, I have to say though, you have found really good ways to keep that going.
To keep using the same punchline and still make it feel fresh.
For the newest one, for Lazer Collection 7/6.
What do you mean? What do you mean slash?
I mean,
I thought I was pretty clear about which one it was.
The first bit in that is two lasers like just next to each other, and just and then like a dude comes out of it instead of the laser, and I'm like, and it took me a second. I was like, oh, son of a bitch! Like he reversed it, like, and oh god, I just,
a lot of people got that. A lot of people really had no idea what the hell that was about.
Well, I mean, honestly, it was just really smart. It was ridiculously smart. So good on you, Dom.
I don't know if I'd say smart. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that comes across, because that's obviously what it became. And the point of the joke was that the joke. And then that was sort of the weird, like when I sit down to try and think of what I thought was funny, it was just that. So I'm glad that there's at least, every so often I'll have someone who, like that's the comment that makes me feel the best, where they're like, man, there's no reason there should be 7 of these, but like, bravo, like I don't know how
the
you
fact
did it.
that you kept it going.
I ain't mad. Like,
there's no reason.
So how did you feel? What was your reaction to when like Lazer Collection really started to blow up, when all of a sudden like everybody started seeing it and you started getting all those views? Like, was that ever something you expected out of this video? And
I mean, I've been asked that before, but it's funny. I don't remember the moment where I was like, oh, people are watching it. Like, cause I don't even remember like it hitting over 1 million views. Like, I think it happened gradually enough that like when it did go over 1 million, it was like that was gonna happen. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't like shock me, like, whoa. It was like kind of climbing up to that point. So when it hit over that, it was like, I'm sure I said something to like my buddies, and I was like, it was over 1 million views now. But like, I don't know. I mean, but also I what's really the worth in that? The thing that got me excited was not that there was like 1 million views, but it was the idea that then there was, because like I love being a fan of everything. Like I just like being a fan. And so the thing that kind of got me excited was realizing there were people who were like going to be waiting for the next thing I do. Because then it was like I got to give that sort of experience, you know what I mean? And like tease it and say, oh, I'm going to make another one. And like I like that. That's like that's the best part of it. Again, it's just the audience. Yeah. Whether or not I please them all the time is to be seen. But it's cool that they're there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think that there was any pressure there? Like, to perform for your fan base? I mean, especially
not
since...
until I wasn't conscious enough about it. Honestly, I was still stupid. Like I wasn't. I don't think I had enough anxiety yet in my life that like when I made the second one, even I was just like, and of course I've done now another. Like it just didn't. I didn't feel like, oh, it better be as good as the other one. Like, you know, I was just like, sure. And I think by the third one, I felt a little more like, ah, shit. There's like, because by then I was like 16 and it was really sinking in. Like, just just being aware of myself as a person just started to really soak into the brain. I was like, oh, people can not like you. Like, that's an option if you do something weird. Like, people stop liking you. So, yeah, so I think by that one I was like, all right, this has got to be good. This one's got to feel good. And that was obviously the one where like I introduced the fucking story and yeah. So
you know what I think helped though? I feel like I mean, at least for David and I, like we kind of grew up with you. It was like that type of thing where we were like you. I don't know, like we would just.
Well, for one, I didn't realize you were in high school when you made those, because I was like, we were in high school when we watched them.
Exactly. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Are we all the same age? Are we like, are we the mystical age of...
Yeah, all right, we're all the same age.
I was going to say 47.
Well,
yeah, so we literally grew up, you know, and I mean, and that's not, I mean, I'm not trying to be like, we grew up with you, Dom. But it's...
I sleep on a picture of your face.
No, there were always, every so often, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and thought I saw bodies, like, standing above me.
Like, we're just, is he gonna be funny yet? Is he gonna be, he's funny! Okay, no, my point being, god damn it. My point being is that, we weren't alone in that.
That's totally, no, that's absolutely something that
it was comforting.
I've become aware of as well, where it's like, there's a part of it that it's hard because I want to keep, like, you know, obviously I was growing up, so there's part of it where it's like you can go back and look at stuff that no one was ever supposed to see. Like, typically when people want to make movies and stuff, no one's watching. Like, their family sees what they did when they were 13 and 14 and 15, and their friends, and then maybe they get to college and the people in their classes are seeing them. But then, like, so like there's this weird timeline you can just go back and sort of track, you know, where I was at creatively, and that's been weird. And so, like, yeah, but with like the, you know, the relationship with the fans and stuff, that's something absolutely I realized that people got older. I mean, there was people who were older than me. That's the one that trips me up. That's weird to think about, is that there were people who, when I was 13, were already 15 or 16, and now I'm still making stuff, and they're still watching, and they're like 26, and that's bizarre. So yeah, I mean, that's absolutely something I've been, you know, aware of, and not there's nothing really to do about it. There's not like an action then that I took because I knew that. It's just like, well, neat.
Well, yeah, and that's probably the best course of action for you to have gone with. Because if you would have just let that succumb to you, like, you know, anxiety, especially 16.
You can't think about that stuff too much.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I do, of course, literally every single time. It doesn't matter what I upload, but every single time I get a little, like, case of butterflies, literally every time I upload something. Because no matter what, you're basically walking out in front of a couple thousand people. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, it is, you know, there's the anonymity.
Yeah,
there's the anonymity of it a little bit, but that's people who comment.
Yeah,
those are human beings on the other side of the screen. So like that does sink in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how did people react to your switch to mainly doing live action shorts? Like, instead
I think it was gradual enough that then there's the people like you again. We were, you know, for the people, everybody was growing up. I've been doing it now. This has been like 10 years now, basically. I think it's 9 actually as of this year. But like, you know, we were growing up, and you know, people were ready to start kind of seeing an evolution of some kind. And it was, if you go back and look, you can see it descend or ascend into that thing. You can watch it kind of happen pretty organically from, like, you know, making a short based on the sketch, and then the next short was like still really goofy, but we took it maybe a little more seriously. And then the next one was like, let's try and be a little scary and write something that I thought was like smart. You know what I mean? Like, so you can watch it sort of, and again, to what degree of success those things had, again, is to be seen. Yeah, I don't know. But you can watch that sort of happen. But there's been people who again, the reason I even did this last Lazer Collection is because people don't shut the hell up about it. I mean, no matter what I was doing, even though I thought, well, I don't need them. Like, the real fans are the people who are going to want to watch what I'm doing, and no matter what it is. But, like, there's a responsibility. I knew that there was a bunch of people, and the reason they were there was for Lazer, so then I make that. But then I made that, and then it was like, this is a letdown. But if I didn't do it, they would never shut up about it. So it was like,
you're damned.
Was not a great way to win. Again, I just said, I did like a little podcast kind of thing that I released with each, like I do that with each of my videos on Patreon. And I said that like, it kind of felt like there was no way to win, but like, I couldn't spend more time than I spent on it than I did. Like if I'd spent more time, it just wasn't possible. I'm just doing, there's too much other crap going on to like spend 2 months on the Lazer Collection.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the things that I love about your channel is like, between all the different content you've produced, there's like such wildly different like styles of things. Like I love that like Lazer Collection is way different than Decked, which is way different than like Elijah, that short film you did, is also like another like there it's not jokey, it's way different than anything else you've done, and that's what I love. Do you ever find yourself feeling like more drawn to one style or another, or something like in the future you feel like, well, I kind of want to be focused more on this over this, or have you just been, I want to make whatever I want to make?
I mean, I've basically been like, I want to make whatever I want to make, because it's easy when I like all that stuff. Nothing was ever an experiment necessarily. It was like, I like things that take themselves a little more seriously, and I like things that are really dumb and don't take themselves seriously. And I also like scary things, and I also like, romantic things. Like, I like all that stuff. It's not hard for me to get behind it because, like, there's a genuine pull every time I kind of sit down to do it. It always just depends on the story. I mean, I get jazzed about different things. Yeah. If I sat and really, like, thought about it, if someone was like, you have to make a scary movie right now, I could sit and be like, just get really excited about something that would scare the shit out of me. So like, I don't know. It's not hard to get me pumped about really anything. You know what I mean? No, I don't really lean towards something. I don't know.
Well, one of my favorite things that you've done that I have to talk about is Decked, just because I love anything Christmas related, and and musical Christmas stuff just gives you the feels more than anything else on the planet. Mm-hmm. But going into that, what kind of made you want to make that, and also to keep it going? I mean, you could have very easily ended with that first part, and
totally. Well, see, but the thing is, so there's like a couple parts of it. The reason I kept going, I'll answer that first, is because, again, going back to that, I like having people watching, and I like being a fan, and then I like giving people the fan kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So the idea that I had something that I was even able to do a sequel to, like the whole idea that, and then he would like work for Santa. He would go on like little Santa adventures. And then it became even bigger than that. And then we realized we wanted to do this friggin' video game. And it was like, and he also goes on big, like these stupid, these giant kind of adventures as well that we're not seeing in the live action, but he's done them. Like that was like, and then I started getting excited. I'm like, and so it was like the first one happened. He got it hired by Santa. The game happens between the first and the second movie. At the end of the game, he gets given the satchel. And then it's like, now he's got this magic satchel randomly in the second one. But it's like, no, he was given it by Santa because he saved fucking Christmas. And there's supposed to be like all of these adventures in between the second and third one, and the third one was supposed to be like the ending. But I just got excited. It was easy for me to like keep thinking about it, and I wasn't quite done. And it wasn't, it was like I like Christmas stuff too, and it was like I like seasonal stuff. That's kind of also why you'll see like that's why I would do like the scary thing for Halloween or whatever. I like seasonal kind of entertainment. So when Christmas was starting to roll, get closer again, it was like, why not? I've already got this thing that's basically like a pre-existing property now. Like I could basically just do that again and just keep building familiarity. And then it becomes fun because people know the character. and they know almost like, you know, the thing I love, it's like TV is where someone says something to a character and the character doesn't even have to open their mouth, and you know the way that like, you know what they're thinking, you know the way that they're going to react to that, you know what I mean? So I like that kind of thing. And again, I don't think I'm not saying that like I did it so well and like that's the way it turned out and it was so perfectly, like I don't think I nailed Decked in any way. Like I've yet to nail it. I think there's a way better way to do it. But where that came from was kind of inorganic, actually. As much as I love that stuff, was that I had the tune, and I was playing the tune without any idea. It didn't have anything attached to it. I didn't have words attached to it. Just messing around on my keyboard, and then I was like, "I'll make it a Christmas song," like, and be kind of goofy about it. And I think I started writing the Christmas song, and then I also like my application for NYU was coming up, and they needed something that was shorter than anything I'd ever made. They needed something that was only like 10 minutes, and I didn't want to cut something up, and I also didn't want to do a reel. I wanted to like show a story, like, you know, show I can tell a little story. Mm-hmm. It ended up still being too long technically, but they didn't like just shut it down because it was like I think it was like 12 minutes, the version I sent to them. Yeah, it was basically like I needed something for an application, and I kind of then sort of Frankensteined this thing where I was like, well, I want to, you know, kind of show most of what I like. You know, I want it to be kind of funny. Mm-hmm. I want to be in it. I want to perform in it and like do these friggin' songs in it. And yeah. Yeah,
well, not only are you writing, directing, and acting, but you also wrote all the music for it, and the music is fantastic. That's
if you say so.
I know. I think it's really great.
It's from a just even an audience standpoint, the fact that as soon as you mentioned the song, I immediately began playing it in my head.
It's upsetting, right?
It's like and I'm like, and now
hey,
it's
be
stuck.
Careful, we're gonna have to pay rights for that now.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah. Sorry, for every la, you owe me $20.
Well, okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's basically it. Yeah, I mean the music stuff. It only gets better.
Yeah,
and that was another thing. Is like, you know, as I'm getting better, it gets more exciting to be like, oh, now I can put a completely different caliber of effort into the music, or you know, whatever it was as we got on. So like, then we did the first one we did after the third one, which I did not think was good. Like I didn't think I even did that well. So it was kind of hard for me to like just leave it alone and be like, and now there'll never be another Decked ever. We went and then like we tried to shoot it a little different. Like we ended up, I got a bunch of friends that go to Temple. They kind of pulled strings at Temple, and we got to shoot that one on the Red. And then we like actually had lights for that one and actually had a dolly set up. And, you know, I reached out to like a bunch of people kind of that I vaguely knew, and we found the little girl who we'd never like worked with before. I never like had like a kid in something. And then even just the music, like, I mean, I put more effort into the music than I did before. So then it's like exciting to be like, this is the same thing. It's like the same quote unquote like franchise, but it's like now I get to do it a little better each time, you know? And then we did the animation because I always wanted to do an animation. Mm-hmm. And I think that turned out all right. I don't think the animation was like breathtaking, but it was cute. And it was like another, you know, way to do it. So yeah, that's Decked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you know, just to touch on the music some more, I mean, have you ever considered trying to do a Broadway show or a musical or like?
Yeah, I thought about it. I mean, but mostly where then that train of thought goes is like, oh yeah, it could be on stage. That'd be cute. And then it's like, it would be a movie. It should be a movie. Like it should be a full Christmas musical movie because then in the movie there's the whole side of the Decked stuff that I still like. What it's become in my head is kind of actiony, and there are monsters and like big dumb kind of Scott Pilgrim style fights like in my head. You know what I mean? That's the way I would want it to be, all in the, you know, jolly joy of the season, but. So in a movie, that's just sort of like where where that would work. But yeah, for a while, actually, there was a kid Ben Murphy did a stage version of the 3 movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was basically just a smash together of the movie. So structurally, it wasn't like perfect.
Solid, yeah.
Like, I think that we tried to introduce Hark earlier. If I remember, and I think he adjusted the words a little bit to certain things so that like Hark was there, and yeah, but I mean then I guess about a year ago, like last summer, a closer buddy of mine was like, I'm thinking about doing it with my production people. They were gonna put on like a little version of it. Would you want to write it? Would you actually want to like, change it to make it this one cohesive story? And I was like, right on. And I started to put it together, and then that was really where I was like, oh, this is what the movie would be. Like that was like as I was going through like the plot points of it, I'm like, ah, shit, like this is supposed to be a movie, isn't it? It's supposed to be like an animated, like Disney's Decked, So we'll see.
So is that a future goal then, to make it into a movie? Yeah.
Totally, dude. Yeah.
Where are you going with your career now? Now that you've moved out to California, you're pursuing some, furthering.
Sure. Yeah. That's basically it. Just you keep climbing. I mean, I'm not gonna live on YouTube forever.
Yeah.
I never thought I was. It's interesting. Like, really, truly think about it. What's it gonna be like in 15 years? In 10 years? What's it gonna be like?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be there? Is it gonna completely change? Is it gonna be a thing that has to transition into like basically digital television? Like, is it a thing then it'll, like, I really don't know. I don't know, like, because already where it's going, it's already become so much more of like a legitimate kind of business and a legitimate platform for people's stuff that it's like.
But it's also
it's either gonna stop and fizzle out, or it's just gonna it's gonna have to turn into something bigger and more like.
Well, and also, like, YouTube as a platform is, like, there's so much more of a, like, vlogger presence of, like, people on there as personalities. Like, do you ever feel like, where you're... Well, what I was gonna say is, like, do you ever feel like, finding a home for your content, finding the right home is something that you're gonna have to keep, figuring out as your career continues to grow? Like, whether it be, continues to be new media, or whether you end up doing old media. Like, is that a question you think about, or are you just...
It's a mix of everything, because there's some certain cold hard facts about it that just aren't going to change. If I want to make Decked the live action movie or Decked the animated movie, that's not new media. That ain't going to live online. Yeah. It's just, and it's also, there's no one who's making stuff online that's going to be able... Even the big ones, even like friggin' Smosh the movie, they're putting lots of money into these things now, but it's not in the same.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Different calibers.
So it has to go to the Disneys. It has to go to the Warner Brothers. Like for certain projects, they just won't live otherwise. So it's a mix, because there's also the small stuff that in a lot of ways, there's small, way quieter movies of mine that I would love to make. When I'm trying to write and direct a feeture at some point in like the next year or so.
Yeah.
And those, the first thing I do isn't gonna be the huge friggin' sci-fi. Like, it just won't be, because first of all, no one's gonna give it to me firstly. And second of all, I can't really quite do that yet. I don't want to be unprepared for something. So the first thing I'll try and do is something smaller, like $1 million movie. That sounds like a shitload of money, but when you're talking about
about movies, that's nothing.
Just an entire production, that's not a lot. So that, and then that stuff, those people can handle. The makers and Awesomeness TV and all those people, and they can handle that kind of thing. So it would be a mix. I would consider going to them for my own personal thing, but when it comes to like these big projects I'm trying to sell and like establish myself as like a big someone to trust with something bigger, like Spiderman, for instance, as far as career goals go, you gotta be in the bigger game. It's just sort of, you just gotta. So to answer the other question as well, that's kind of where it's going. I mean, that's always where it's been going. YouTube was never... I never landed on YouTube and was like, I found my place. Like, I was kind of, I can now upload stuff and no one's going to delete it if they don't like it. So, this is where I'm going to put all my stuff. So, I was making stuff before. I was making stuff before I was even looking online. You know what I mean? It was just sort of that gave me more of a confidence in like showing people, or being like, I can just show people, like even realizing that's possible. Now it's like I moved out here. I got signed when I got out of NYU. I got signed by management out here, and then that's been this whole like just trying to figure out, okay, what do I write, because it's trying to sell a script, on spec, which is just then so it's just basically I write something and then hope that someone wants it. And then there's like, now that I'm out here, I just had a meeting with my manager out here for the first time. I had met with him in New York before, but out here we were like, kind of, okay, really game plan. What's a thing that we think is possible? What's a thing that's sort of, what are people buying right now? And I do not think of trying to just sell something that maybe I think is sort of, what's the word? Like buyable, or like, something that sort of works right now in that market is not necessarily selling out. It's more like, I'm here to play the game a little bit because I want to eventually, I want to be able to do what I want to do. Yeah. So, basically I feel like it doesn't even matter. Not even just movies. Basically the way that works is like, you kind of do what is going to get you into position to do whatever you want to do.
Oh, it's all strategy. It's all strategy.
And it doesn't mean that you're not doing what you want to do. It's just there's a lot of things you want to do, and you got to choose which ones you want to show at what times.
And this the stuff that now I maybe will attack in more of a like, all right, I want something to get bought. I want to like make a sale. The stuff that then I attack is still in line with things I like in the first place. Yeah. Like it still is going to be in this sort of like monster, supernatural, sweet, weird kind of thing. Yeah. Like that's just, it's still going to fall in line. This looks amazing. I'm sorry. Look.
Oh my gosh, it's all like Scholastic Book Fair written all over it.
Oh man. God. It's so cool.
My girlfriend found a bunch of...
The joy of audio entertainment, right?
So I know, right? Look at this podcast audience. Can you see it? This is why we need to start doing video.
Yeah, we need to get on that.
So, as your career is continuing, do you expect internet content, your YouTube fan base, to still be a major part of that? Or even in any sense, like... Do you expect that internet content is still going to be something you do?
Totally. I mean, but again, I'm at a weird spot now where the audience is not so big that it's like, and this almost sounds mean, but it's okay. Like, so the audience is not so big online for me that I'd be a complete idiot to ignore it. Like, not a complete idiot. Like, maybe a little bit. It's like, you could have kept doing that and maybe growing the audience. But like, the way it is right now, it's like, I could just take it easy because there aren't, especially just the way it is right now. I upload something, it's not getting all 228,000 people who are subscribed. They're not clicking on that thing. And that's part YouTube fault, part my fault, a lot my fault for not being consistent with when I upload. But now I'm in this weird position specifically right now, like I just moved out here, where it's like I really got to make some decision about what to tackle, like how to make all of this stuff talk to each other the right way, how to make my goal, out with the studios and stuff work really well with the YouTube thing. Like, so there's like a cohesive idea about like what I'm up to, which maybe means, saying goodbye a little bit, and I'll do it. Again, I'm always going to just do what I want when I want to. Like if I get a really, really strong idea for like a random weird little animation, I probably will think about it a little harder now, but like if I really want to do it, I'll do it. But right now it's more this idea of like, let's get some consistency. Let's really tackle stuff that I'm jazzed about, that doesn't feel like just clocking in, and I got the Patreon thing going on right now. So if people listen to this, like, if you want to support me and like kind of see scripts and stuff like that, there's a lot of like cool shit you can get from Patreon, which is patreon.com/DomFera. If you feel so inclined.
We'll include the link for you.
Yeah, man. So yes, to answer the question, yes, I want to keep doing stuff. I don't want that to die. And specifically right now, within these last couple of weeks, I'm in a position where it's like, I need to really decide how this is all going to work now going forward. Yeah. Because it is very transitional right now. I'm very much floating around with like a bunch of stuff. So it's like, You'll see. I mean, it'll all come together in one way or another because it's going to have to, because just time is going to move. I'm obviously not able to just stop everything and make a choice. So
absolutely.
Right. Oh yeah, no. It's anything about furthering anything. It takes time, and I think one thing I was going to ask you about is Are you trying to focus more on the writing, directing now, or are you still wanting to incorporate your acting into that?
It's more the writing there. I mean, like, truthfully, I also don't ever want to not. I mean, a lot of the times when I think of stuff, when I'm like, when I do a first feature, I want to be in it. Because it's, again, I still like it. That's still something that I really like doing and makes me feel good to do well. So, like, yeah, I'm not going to ever just, like, stop doing that. But, like, but in true, like, nuts and bolts of, like, concrete, what am I doing right now? I'm not going out on auditions,
Yeah, I get you.
I'm writing. I'm trying to, so, yeah.
Awesome. Now, one thing I do want to bring up, just because, like, clearly because I'm doing a podcast, audio entertainment is just something I get so jazzed about. I gotta talk about that Spider-Man thing you released. And, like, are you working on doing more of that? Because I mean, I don't know what response from a lot of your fans have been, but I know from my angle, I'm like, please do. Oh my God, I'm subscribing to this right now.
Yeah, no, everybody was down for it. I don't think I had a single comment of anybody saying, please don't waste your time, which was good. I mean, that's like that was a really good reaction. So I got like a little giddy too, because it was like, I'm going to be able to basically make money writing Spider-Man, and it's a fan thing. And I got to, obviously there's like I got to be very clear about like, this is not like, I'm not making money on the character. Like, that's the good thing about Patreon a little bit too, is that it's like a donation based thing. So it's like people are donating for me to make something, not for a Spider-Man product. Do you know what I mean? So, so I, there's a little wiggle room, I think. There. Yeah. We'll see though after the first 2 episodes come out, and then I get like cease and desist. So.
Well, I know, like the audio world is like a little bit more controlled than the YouTube world, but so you said when the first 2 episodes come out, do you mean that you've got like the first bit written or even produced and ready to be released, or what's like the production timeline for that? As
it is right now, I mean, I'm very, 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 very hesitant now to ever say that something is happening.
Gotcha.
Because it is easy, because I'm really trying to like learn my lesson, because I haven't for 10 years, that like I will be so positive, like so sure that something is happening immediately. Like I'll be like, tomorrow, we're doing it tomorrow. And then I don't. And then that screws everything up. Like, but my, my initial, like, I'm so jazzed that it's happening and I'm so sure it's happening. Like, that's hard to ignore. But yeah, so I just like, I don't want to say with 100% certainty that it's happening, but I will tell you with 100% certainty, I'm trying to do it. So we are, I had a Skype conversation where I knew the story I wanted to tell, and I knew sort of, the theming of what would be this first season of this thing. And where, what is, again, like what would be a Spider-Man story that I would want to tell, and what's a way to use Spider-Man and use his villains and kind of talk to something that I feel strong enough about to like write 8 episodes of. So
awesome.
So yeah, I'm trying. I'm going for it. I'm writing the first episode as it is. I sat down with Jack Howard and Tim Kish, and we, sort of just talked. It was really fun. We talked for about 3 hours, and I kind of buckled down on knowing, be about 8 episodes, and I know where it goes. I know the twists. I know, who's in it and why and what purpose everybody plays, for Peter, and what I'm trying to say about Peter and that character and life. I mean, it's fun with that kind of thing, because you're getting to use these things that I'm already excited about. These characters I already know really well, and these kind of like, these stories I know really well too, but frame them differently. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, hold off on stuff.
Well, that's
I don't want to say anything without giving something away, but like, just people know the story. But I also hate, for the record, I don't like when something is dishonest to what its source material is. So I don't like turning something on its head. Like, for the record, like that. So the Power Rangers thing that came out, that really hardcore badass, and it was cool. It was definitely cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However, there's like the side of my brain that goes like, but that's really disingenuous. Like, that's not really what like Power Rangers feels like.
Yeah.
Like, which is fine, make it whatever you want. Make it, separate it as much as you want. Like, I don't hate, I just mean more that I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So when I think of, if I was ever going to write a movie based on something else, it's like, I want it to, even if I change things, it's changing it in service of what its friggin' skeleton was in the first place. So as much as it's like, whoa, that's very different. Like, that's a completely different thing about Spider-Man we've never seen. Like, it's weird that that's the way this happened.
Yeah.
But you'll be like, but that doesn't, this is still Spider-Man. This is still what it's about. And it's in service of, like, a heart that still feels very Spider-Man. So you'll see. Again, I'm like, I really don't want to, like, because I really want people to go through this.
Well, you can get a sense of that in the video you posted. Like, you can get a really good sense of, like, the mood, the tone, and it's fantastic. Like, the type of conversation, like that conversation he has with Harry Osborn at the end. Like, that's such a great, like, character. Like, I'm just really glad this is going to be that character focus. Like, that's what you guys are planning on doing. It's fantastic.
And those are the things that I get so excited, like thinking about that conversation. I didn't know necessarily what the conversation was going to be about when I started writing it, but then you get these like little moments where it was like, it just snapped in my head. I was like, oh, that's Harry and Peter. The difference is Harry, Peter believes he didn't really want it, and Harry doesn't want any of this, but like, again, the difference is that Peter put himself in the position and Harry wanted nothing to do with it. He really didn't want anything to do with it. And meanwhile, he finds out that like his buddy put himself in the position and by extent forced Harry into the situation. So like once you like when you feel that stuff, you're like, that's awesome. Like of course that's how those characters work together.
It's so cool.
Did you see Ant-Man?
Yeah.
My favorite line in Ant-Man. I felt very like fine about the movie. It didn't like knock my socks off. My favorite line in that whole movie is when Hank Pym is talking to Darren Cross and he's like, Darren says like, why didn't you what happened? Why did you just ignore me all of a sudden? Why did you push me away? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, he says, what did you see in me? And he says, I saw myself. And he goes, then why did you push me away? And he says, because I saw too much of myself. Yeah. And I'm like, that's awesome.
That's great.
Like, that's a great line like that. And you completely get that as, slightly cheesy as it could be, or as like, grand and dramatic as that can sound. You get that. That's awesome that you get that. And now, granted, I didn't necessarily understand that in the movie. Like, they can say that line and it sound really nice, but like, I didn't even, going the step further. It's like, did their dynamic, like, did that really feel true? Like, was that true? Did he remind us of Hank Pym? Like, obviously you could take his word for it because he's like, oh, you reminded me when I was young. We didn't see him when he was young. But I don't know. That's the kind of thing where it's like, you really want to feel like when someone says shit like that, you want to be like, that's it. That's all of it in 4 lines. That's their entire thing. So I'm getting a little off topic.
No, it's all good. To wrap up all of the Spider-Man talk, which I'm more excited now than ever. And I know David's eyes are like lit up right now. It's hilarious.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I hope so, man. I mean, try not to,
Oh yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah.
No, don't worry. If it's not like absolutely perfect, I'm gonna find out where you live and I'll just be knocking the door down.
Well, we already know because he was telling us about. Yeah, he figured out that we are above his bed all the time, David.
Oh, that's
cat's
true.
out of the bag.
I was established earlier in this conversation.
What I was going to say is, that if whoever's listening did not have faith in this Spider-Man project before, hopefully you do now. And on top of that, the people that you have, Jack Howard and Tim Kish, are also really talented and know what they're talking about with superheroes, and especially Tim. I love his rants. I love his rants, especially about the new movie trailers that came out for Superman. And,
I watched through both of them. I was surprised, like, because like you start something that's like 18 minutes, and you're like, I'm not getting through this,
and then
you're at the end.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So honestly, if anybody, I mean, I know we're talking about you, Dom, but definitely people check them out because all together they're going to be the triumvirate that just...
We're also... Tim H. is also a huge Spider-Man fan, and we just kind of like... I've known him as like an acquaintance, and I just hung out with him because he lives in LA. He goes to USC, and he also is very Spider-Man and movie knowledgeable. He also is just one of those people that can talk really well about, making something work. Just that's the whole thing is like I really trust people in their ability to have a conversation about it, and that's a big thing with Jack Howard as well. Jack is able to just speak pretty well about story and about that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
Well, one more thing I wanted to ask is for anybody who is starting off being a content creator, or whether it's on YouTube or audio or really anything, like what advice would you give to somebody who is starting out and wanting to pursue their dreams and to tell their stories? What kind of have you learned that you can share with others?
I mean, it's all the same. You know, you could ask that to anybody who really does anything slightly creative, man. I mean, it's all the same. Like, you know, there's no revelation in just doing what you want to do, and like, you know, just keep yourself excited about it. I mean, that's the main thing that people kind of. I feel like that's the thing that people trip themselves up on, is like not being able to. Because I mean, dude, it's a long game. Project to project, like you need to know that you're going to be able to, and but also don't psych yourself out, because it's not like I've never done something and been halfway through it and like I don't fucking know about it, like this is hard, I'm in it now and it's hard for me to stay excited, like so many times, especially in the last year, like trying to write certain things. So like don't take that as like, oh my god, if I doubt how excited I am, does that mean I'm not good enough to make? No, of course not. There are people who make these giant movies who walk onto the set one day and they're like, this feels weird. I don't want to make this anymore.
That's
like,
so true.
So just don't freak out about it. Just, you know, stick to it. Have some form of like, you know, physical discipline, and just like keep going. Like just keep moving. Yeah. Get yourself to walk onto the set, like, you know what I mean? Get your friends together. Like, just do it. Put yourself in the position to be excited. Like, you know, position yourself to be excited. That's sort of like the positioning yourself is the hard work, is sort of, you know, doing the actual legwork of it. So.
And I'll add a little bit to that too. I feel because what you said is spot on. But like, and that's for anything, creating anything. I would also add to don't forget who you are in the process. Like, never lose yourself, I think.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean,
totally. And as long as you're staying pumped about what you're pumped about,
exactly.
You're not gonna. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to do that. There's never any good in like saying this is exactly what I want to do. Like, this is the style that I will make things in forever. Like, I don't think that's a good, especially if you haven't done something yet. You know, you might, but at the same rate, feel free to start something and be like, you know what? I want to make a detective thing. Or like, I want to make something very much like a Chris Nolan movie. Like, you know, that's fine to know what you're shooting after, but like, don't
limit yourself.
Yeah, don't put yourself in a corner, because it's easy. It is easy to do that, you know?
Okay. Well, Dom, we're gonna wrap this up here, but before we go, we normally have our guests choose a YouTube pick of the week, something weird.
Oh, yeah.
So do you, it sounds like you have a good one. What, what's
man, hold on, I guess I'll send you the link afterwards, but, yeah, there's this video, I can't it's so short that if I explain it, which won't be funny, like, the joke is, it's basically a very rich man is being interviewed. That's like, just, I don't know what else to say. I don't know if you've seen this.
Do you know what the video's called?
Yeah, what's the name?
I think even saying the name, hold on, I gotta find it, because I saw it like on Facebook. Hold on.
I mean, either way, we're gonna include
we'll
the
link to it.
Yeah.
His name is Alki.
Alki. Okay. Well, it's not alkaline batteries.
Yeah. Okay. It's a very, very, very rich man is being interviewed, and he's
just watch it and see where it goes.
Dude, you just gotta know. It's 40 seconds long. Like, it's not a big investment. But this was very funny to me.
Well, it's loading right now.
Okay, well, we shouldn't say it though, just in case.
Oh. Yeah, just do a search for Alki David.
Isn't that unreal?
It's just Oh. And I don't think that's the first time she's ever had to say that.
That's amazing.
Isn't that insane?
That is the greatest. All right.
Oh, man, I love it. It's so
We'll post the link, but if anybody wants to search, just do a search for Alki David, A-L-K-I David. You'll probably find it.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it's the Well, it's one of the top videos when you do a search.
Yeah, it's like the third one down.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, where can you find stuff?
Yeah, where can we find more of
Dan?
what you got going on?
YouTube.com/DominicFear. And Twitter.com/DominicFear. Facebook.com/DomFera is the one where I tend to post most often. And Patreon.com/DomFera. So you just search Dom Fera.
Just do a search for Dom Fera and they'll find you.
And it hopefully will come up.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Dom, so much for being on. This was great talking to you.
Totally.
Great. And I'm really excited for what you have going in the future.
We both are.
With anything you make in the future. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's really cool, like, seeing your stuff and knowing that it's just like, and this is, like, even what you have now, like, this is just the beginning of what your career is going to be. So that's really exciting.
Here's hoping, man. Don't jinx me.
But yeah, it's been great having you on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for even inviting me.
Well, yeah.
It's good. Plenty to talk about.
All right. All right, thank you, Dom Fera. Thank you so much. That was great. I am really excited for everything. God, you know how excited I am for Spiderman, that audio series?
Oh, gosh.
Because you know how much I love audio content. Like, I can't shut up. Like, that's why we had Pick Your Path. Or
that's why we had Andrew Lindy on here, because
because he's great, but also because, like, that's what I want. That's what I love. It's audio stuff all the time. And oof, if you have not seen that video, listen to what he produced. Go on to his YouTube. It's like one of his latest uploads, and it is so good. So good.
It's fantastic. All right, David, we've been talking a lot. Let's just jump right into the YouTube pick of the week.
YouTube picks. So, my feelings about the internet and YouTube specifically, I really wish there was more narrative content on YouTube. Like, there's some great vlog stuff, there's some great sketches, but, like, narrative content is great. And I guess the video I'm about to say is a sketch, but it's one of the most subtle, artful sketches I've ever seen. And also, technically, I'm gonna say a Vimeo video. Although it is on YouTube, I don't know if it was posted on YouTube by the actual guy, so I'm gonna go ahead and say look for it on Vimeo. It's called I Miss Drugs. There's 5 episodes. I'm just gonna talk about the first one. Basically, the video, without that title, just seems like this really, like, melancholy, chill video about a guy talking about his pillow. But then when you add the title, I Miss Drugs, it puts on this whole, like, subtextual level of, like, this guy who is really disappointed with the state of his life, and it's just, like, everything is kind of dull and drab, and just go watch the video. Like, the level of comedy in there, I think, is so fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's like one of those, like, jokey videos, but you kind of have to be, knowledgeable. It's one of the more highbrow YouTube sketches I've seen. Anyway, speaking of highbrow content, Michael, what's your pick?
Oh yeah, it's the highest of the brows. Honestly, you guys just go right ahead. It's quality entertainment.
Safe for the whole family?
Yeah, safe for the whole family. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Probably some of the best writing I've ever seen. Type in Elmo. Wait, hold on. What is it? Type in Elmo and Cookie Monster sex tape, and I'm pretty sure you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Very highbrow.
Oh, super highbrow. Stay until the very end, because that's when the climax happens. Literally. And just keep going with that. Honestly, if you're watching, like, people actually okay, full disclosure, yeah, it's
what is a video, actually?
It's a Tickle Me Elmo, and I believe it's like a Tickle Me Cookie Monster, and they were kind of in a box together, and it just ended up being just so wrong. Like, I'm not a big just that kind of, like, video fan where it's like, it's a homemade video and somebody's just filming some toys reacting to each other. But no, this is it brings it to a whole other level because the sound effects that they make, because they react off of sound and off of like touch. So the fact that they were just going on and on and on, and then finally Cookie Monster at the end is just like it's bizarre. Watch it, have a good laugh. So if you want highbrow entertainment, see David's thing. If you don't, you know what to do.
Or just watch both because they're fun.
Or both.
Michael, if people like you,
They don't.
well, then, okay, we're going to just skip right over your plugs then. Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
No, hold on. If people, on the off chance.
On the off chance that somebody might like you, even though you just told them to watch Elmo and Cookie Monster's sex tape,
If you want to see more of that.
where can they find more of what you have going on?
Oh, boy. You can always find me on Twitter at Arctic_Ginger. If you need to find me on Facebook or Instagram, it's Michael William Hunter. You could always just Google me, honestly, and on my full name, Michael William Hunter, and you'll find me. You'll find all of my stuff, my IMDb, all of that jazz. What about you, David?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at David W. Spencer. You can also find this show on Twitter at TYInternetPod and on Facebook also at TYInternetPod. Just do a search for that and you should find us. And you can send us an email at thanksinternetpodcast@gmail.com. Still looking at that empty inbox. Just somebody email me. Just anybody, literally. Listen, if you listen to it, just email me and tell me that you listened to an episode. Even if you hated it, just tell me. It's not that hard, people. I don't know why our listeners just don't like talking to us. It's fine.
Give it,
it's fine.
I
know it's fine.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I know it takes a while to get, but I just putting it out there. You can email us. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. That is still the best way that people find podcasts. Remember to leave us a rating and a review. Again, this is one of the best ways to help people find us at all. So leave that rating, review, and subscribe. And
and share.
Yes.
Please share with people.
Please share our links. If you share our link, we'll do something cool for you. Seriously.
If you liked us having Dom on the show, please share it. Tweet at him. Tweet at us.
And the more people you share it, the more people listen. The more people listen, the cooler people will be able to get. Like Dom, that was so fantastic that we got Dom, and it's only because we've got this show and it's growing, and as we're growing, we're going to be able to get everybody on the internet, which is so fantastic. And also, our music is Saddest Beach by Silent Partner. You can find that at the YouTube audio library, where you can find more free-to-use music for your projects. This has been our show. Michael, you have any weird requests? Here's my request.
There you go.
More narrative videos on YouTube. Less, vlogging is great, but I want more good narrative content out there. More awesome short films. Just more cool stuff.
And, I have another one. Just everybody, when Dom releases the Spiderman, radio show, watch it.
Share it. You mean listen to it?
Sure. Well, but I think he's gonna have, the artwork as well. So, watch it, listen to it, share it, I don't know,
do stuff.
Preach about it. Just do something with it, because honestly, we need more content like that.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
So do that, internet.
Absolutely. Do that. Thanks, internet.
Yes. So thank you, Dom, and thank you, internet.
Bye, internet.
Bye.
Yeah, because I know Michael sent you that list of questions we were thinking about asking, but if there's anything else that you were like, I really want to talk about this.
I'd like to keep the conversation, your questions were great, but I'd like to keep it strictly about pizza, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
I don't know, this is an hour-long program, but I figure,
All right, well, if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at Arctic_Ginger.
At Arctic_Ginger.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I'm at, and then the at symbol.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're an at?
I'm at.
Are the Rebel Speeders going to take you down? Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oh boy, we're tired. And then
Woo, podcast! Yes! Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna cut that out.
This is important, David. This is the important shit.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Put this in at the end of the video.
We've been talking forever.
All right.
I know it's gonna go in the end of the video.